So welcome into whatever we're gonna call this thing.
Still working on the name. We have to talk with we have to have another post meeting to kind of figure this out. But
Right. Get our representatives, agents, money men together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Are we meeting at like a local McDonald's or something, or no?
No, we did that last time, and the customer service was bad, even though we brought our laptops and everything. So let's just try talking out on the phone.
Right, right. Plus, all the Tennessee people were already there, so they've kind of staked out those locations already.
Oh gosh.
So, who knows what form people are going to see this in? I might just post the rough draft of it. I might end up posting the edited. Who knows? So hopefully, some people see this day and enjoy. So Alabama coming off of another championship. Everyone's done reaction videos by this point, all that kind of stuff. So obviously, we're happy about it. My brother and I have been fans since '94 when we moved to Tuscaloosa. Right. So we have been blessed with seeing 6 championships, all under Nick Saban. And so what we're going to do today is rank those 6 championships using a totally biased system that we just came up with in our own heads. So I know because of our little talks, you and I have agreed on the first 2, what we say, but different orders. So Raj, I'm gonna let you start. What is your number 1 under Saban?
My number 1 under Saban is going to be the 2009 title game in which we defeated Texas. It was, like, as you just mentioned, it was probably the first championship that we witnessed as Alabama fans. And before that time, we had gone through a lot of coaching changes, a lot of ups and downs, and we were there.
I don't want to talk about the years. Those were painful.
We were. Story short, we witnessed a lot of those painful years. Went to a lot of those games, and anyway, the 2009 trophy, or the 2009 championship, was the kind of one that kind of put Alabama back on the map. We thought we were there once we got Saban in 07, but winning that title game is what cemented us and said, "Hey, Alabama's back." That's my number 1.
37-21 over Texas. Colt McCoy gets knocked out of the game early. Alabama was in a 6-0 hole, but they closed the half strong, closed the game strong. Texas actually pulled, I want to say, within 3 late in the game with their backup, and then Alabama added on 2 quick touchdowns and kind of put that one away. But it never seemed like it was down. And that third quarter is probably one of the most boring third quarters of a championship game I've ever watched. That game gets my number 2, though, for a lot of the things that you just mentioned. My personal number 1 is, of course, the 2015 game, 45-40 over Clemson. Just for the pure fact of, I think it was one of the first games where I was really like searching out highlights and going on YouTube and that sort of thing. And after that game, I stayed up till 2:00. And I mean, you just had so many big plays, the onside kick, Jay Howard, everything he caught just seemed like a huge play. And then, of course, your probably favorite from that game, the Drake kickoff return. I remember right before he did that, I was like, okay, we're about to get the ball. We're up. Let's have a nice drive. Let's get Henry some touches and let's just grind it out. And then instead he ran it all the way back instead. So I said, okay, we could do that too. So I guess that's fine. So that one is actually my number 1, which I believe is your number 2.
Yes, that game is my number 2 for a lot of the reasons that you just mentioned. It was just an entertaining game from kickoff to the end of the game, going back and forth, the scoring on both ends. The plays that you mentioned that I still pull up on YouTube to this day. And again, you just mentioned the Kenyon Drake run back was my favorite play out of the whole game. The onside kick, so surprising. Nobody expected that to happen, especially a Nick Saban coach team in a national championship game. That was so surprising to see that, but we recovered it, thank goodness. I think it was our Darius Stewart that recovered that. And anyway, we went on to win the game, played a good Deshaun Watson-led Clemson team, won the game, and that's my number 2.
Yep. So our number 3 on my end, that brings me to the 2017 game against Georgia, which, by the way, is purely surviving on one play. Because the rest, if you're an Alabama fan, you could have gone anywhere for the whole first half. Showed up for the second half and seen just about every highlight. So, and I always feel the need to make this disclaimer. That's nothing against Jalen Hurts, who is always an Alabama legend, and we love him. They just hadn't figured out on the first half of that day, and we had to switch something up. So went to a freshman, and people remember in that game, Tua as a freshman leading us, throws the game-winning pass to another freshman, Devontae Smith, and the best runner in that game late in the second half was Najee Harris, another freshman. So Saban went in a route that you don't often see in championship games, and we will always remember that play. And I have another video up how I missed that play. So if you ever want to check that out, if you're surfing our channel, but that gets my number 3. But let's be honest, it's largely carried by one play.
Yeah, that's also my number 3. The 2nd and 26 play is another play that I still watch frequently on YouTube if I'm ever in a down and out mood, or if I ever want to just watch some old Alabama highlights, especially with Tua. That play was just, and even if you watch the play, when he hiked the ball, the entire time he had the ball in his hands, he's looking to his right.
Yep.
He's looking to his right, and then all of a sudden he just split second, he looks over to the left, and Devontae Smith's wide, and he just launches at those. Not throwing a more perfect pass than that. The accuracy, location, the spin on the ball, everything was there. That is one reason why that will get my number 3. Glad we won the game. Ugly, like you mentioned, very, very ugly first half. Nothing went right in the first half. But Tua came in and saved the day. And another shout out to Jalen Hurts. He's always going to be an Alabama legend. We have the utmost respect for him. He came back another year after that year, stayed with the team, helped us win the SEC championship the next year. Shout out to Jalen, shout out to Tua. That's our number 3.
Right. And also just a quick note on that play, Roger, I watched that play I watched the live replay. I watched the radio replay. I listened, I watched the Georgia replay. I watched it in Spanish, in Russian. That was amazing. Okay. Yep. I'll go first with my number 4 because we're kind of getting into muddy waters here. My number 4 is the one that just happened, the 2020 over Ohio State. Not so much because it was a great game, but it's just because the 2 that are lower on my list were just a lot more boring to me. Yeah. So it was nice. This was a revenge game because the way Ohio State did us in the first year of the playoffs, it was nice to win. And it was just a dominant team, maybe one of my favorite teams to watch all year. So I'm going to go with the 52-24 victory over Ohio State.
That's also my number 4 for the simple fact that, well, for a lot of facts, actually, but one of them being that championship game just capped off an unbelievable year. Was it 10-0 in SEC play, national champions, making history, winning the SEC championship, winning the Heisman, winning a plethora of awards.
Saban caught COVID 1.5 times.
Saban caught COVID, didn't even coach the Iron Bowl. I guess shout out to Steve Sarkisian, who's the head coach of Texas now. But just for a number of reasons. I mean, we played a perfect game. This is probably the most balanced offense we've ever had. I mean, we were a threat every single where. Devontae Smith had 250 yards in the first half. Everywhere. We're going to edit that out.
That's fine.
Everywhere. I think Devontae Smith had 215 yards, three touchdowns in the first half.
Yep.
In one half. So, and
Najee Harris into the game with 3 also.
Najee Harris. Yes, Najee Harris had an unbelievable game. Just a good overall game, and that's my number 4.
Yep, agreed with that. So after the 2 that are left, I'm guessing we agree on number 5 is the LSU game.
Yeah.
2011, 21-0 over LSU.
Much of a debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long, boring, and I'm gonna try to answer this for both of us. It was a long, boring game, 21-0, a defensive game for pretty much the entire time. Not really exciting.
You might be fooled by the 21-0 and think that we scored multiple touchdowns. No, 1 touchdown.
Right.
Not field goals.
It was just 1 touchdown, a lot of defensive stuff, and it was just a boring game. And I really don't even like talking about I'm glad we won the game. Don't get me wrong. It was that made 2 out of 3 national championships, but it was not entertaining to say the least.
No, at all. And that brings us to the last one on the list. The 2012 42-14 over Notre Dame. I mean, I don't remember anything from this game. I have to go look up highlights to remember what we did. It's Notre Dame, and I guess we expect to beat them, especially like in the playoffs this past year. And we did. So I think this game is more known for Manti Te'o's fake girlfriend than anything else. Otherwise, people don't really talk about this game.
Yeah, they don't. The only thing I really remember from this game is Eddie Lacy's run. I forgot he scored after he scored one of his touchdowns. He made this pose, which made it on the cover of Sports Illustrated the next day. And I actually bought that copy of Sports Illustrated. I don't know where it is now. Had that game been more important or a more exciting game, I can tell you exactly where that is. I have no idea, but I bought that magazine the next day or the next 1 or 2 days, and he was on the cover. 42-14. Notre Dame was never in this game. They lost a lot of respect, not just from us, but they lost a lot of respect from college football fans around the world after this loss. And in my personal opinion, I really don't think Notre Dame has been good since
No.
the 90s, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But
Well,
yeah, that's our number 6.
That's our number 6. So that's our ranking of the sub 6. If you agree, disagree, whatever, just let us know. Raj, appreciate it. We'll be back in a little while with another video.
All right, sounds good.